So, Scott, what would you say are some of the benefits for people to do this training?
Well, learning how to facilitate past life regressions. We also do some other spiritual sessions like traveling back to the womb and going to a pre-life planning session. It's almost tiptoeing into that LBL, life between lives territory.
Why does somebody want to take this training?
Well, there are lots of reasons. We get lots of types of students. Some are hypnotherapists already, and they've just wandered into this world of hypnotherapy, which you can do so many things with, right? You're getting inside of a person so you can explore. Learning about past life regression is a very cool thing because you can help someone, you can help a client to understand why they have certain behaviors, why they have certain conditions in their life, and help them to understand the root causes of that, which may have come from childhood, but may have come from a previous lifetime. And so help them to overcome whatever challenges they may have in the current life so they can move forward with enjoying life. For the client, obviously, there's lots of benefits. Basically, cleaning stuff up from the past and also maybe bringing energy or gifts or skills forward into the present. It's kind of a two-way street where you might want to clean out some old stuff, but you could also bring magic and skills. Maybe you were an oracle in ancient Greece in a past life, and now you want to learn about channeling or something. Well, obviously, and you can bring some of these skills through. For the clients, there's lots of benefits. For the therapist, we have the benefits of being able to help a person along their path. It's emotionally rewarding to realize, like, wow, I've helped this person and I can help many persons. We could even do group sessions where you can help a whole group of people. Or you could eventually write books and do online stuff, YouTube, whatever. You could help thousands of people. It's emotionally rewarding. There's financial rewards because you can charge for these sessions. If you do about 3 or 4 sessions, basically pays for the training that we're giving. It's a pretty good investment. Other benefits is things that you might learn. There's always learning for us in these sessions, learning about spiritual laws, learning about issues in our own lives. Because sometimes client will have an issue that's parallel to an issue that I'm having. I'll get some advice from their spirit guides or their higher self. There are lots of benefits for the therapist. There's different types of people that come to our trainings. There are hypnotherapists who want to get into past life regression as another income stream, as a way of helping people. There are people who are straight therapists, licensed, like marriage and family therapists or counseling psychologists, who come to the classes because in their sessions, sometimes past life material comes bubbling up to the surface and they don't know what to do with it. They come to our class, we have everything laid out. We have a big manual. We have all kinds of instructions and scripts. And so they'll know just what to do. When a past life pops up, they'll know what to do. We also have alternative therapists like massage therapists or Reiki masters. Sometimes past life stuff comes up. People could be getting a massage and it just like pushes, like things get stored in the body or it stimulates some past life issue. They start crying or something. The massage person's like, what do I do? Well, if you come to our past life class, you'll know just what to do. There are other people who are just hobbyists and just fascinated with the concept of past life and between lives and spirit guides. They like to come to just enjoy and also to be able to share these techniques with their friends and family. We get lots of different people and we have a great time. One of the coolest things about the class is that we practice on each other. So we find practice buddies or partners and we do sessions. In the training, you'll get to experience your own past life regression, probably more than once. You'll get to experience your own life planning session. So this is pretty helpful. It might be pretty helpful for your life right now. People are wondering, what do I do? Where do I go? It's an interesting time in history and in our society. Understanding about why am I here? Why did I come to this life? What should I really focus on? Another benefit you'll get from taking the class is learning about yourself.
Yeah, it is a really interesting time on the planet. This is a time of major spiritual shift, and so many people are awakening to their spiritual nature and wanting to do meaningful work, wanting to help others. And I know that when I started on my spiritual journey, it was like I knew I didn't want to do the corporate world anymore, but I couldn't figure out, like, I want to help people, I want to work on the spiritual level, but I didn't know how. And so it's really great to have a process like this. I really think that past life regression is one of the most powerful processes or methods on the planet for creating shift and awakening and transformation. Really, to create this powerful shift, past life regression gives us the tools to do that. And for these people that are wanting to step more into their soul purpose of helping others and helping others awaken, this is one of the best tools. I remember reading that now versus, say, like 30 years ago or 50 years ago. A lot more people are opening to this idea of reincarnation and understanding how we evolve as souls through reincarnation. There is this demand for it as well, as people are wanting to know who they are and understand who they are across many lifetimes. And people can always get something from this session. Because sometimes people will say, a psychic told me about one of my past lives, or I already experienced a past life. So should I even have a past life regression? But there's so many lifetimes, who knows how many, hundreds or more than that even. The soul is always going to bring up something that helps the person now. I find that super important to point out, because sometimes people have misconception about past life regression, that it's to stroke people's ego, the glamour of like, oh, I was Cleopatra. It's really not like that. I've never had anybody come and be somebody super famous. It's really about learning and growth and healing. The soul is always going to choose something, not just for someone to feel good about themselves. It's good to feel good about themselves, but really something that's going to help them in their life now. It's going to relate. It sounds like it's so impractical, but it's like the most practical thing there is.
That was beautifully said, very beautifully said. It is a time of great shifting of an awakening, as you talked about. I do a lot of sessions and they kind of come in and out. But just yesterday at the end, the person's spiritual guide was talking and they were saying that reincarnation, it's going to be an important thing, that humanity is going to awaken more and more to the reality of reincarnation in these coming years. This is going to be a very important shift for humanity to realize it's not just one and done. There's a whole tapestry of previous and future lives. And this is one drop in the ocean. Every life is precious. It's beautiful. But it's just a drop in the ocean of your soul's tapestry across time and space. And so I love what you said. It's going to be more and more demand for understanding past life regression. And I agree with you. Some people think it's kind of an ego-stroking glamour thing. I was King Arthur, like, so what? It's not really about that. In the sessions, as part of the session, we ask in a hypnotic meditative state, let's go to a past life that has a meaningful connection to the current life and the current issue. That's where we end up going. It's kind of like a deck of cards, like oracle cards, right? Pluck a card. We're plucking one life from the deck, but it always is the meaningful life. That's the magic of past life regression, right? It always is very meaningful. It's perfectly appropriate. It gives you this insight into your life right now. So while it's airy-fairy and ethereal, it's also solid, it's also practical. And I'll even say we need something practical. Usually in the sessions that I do, we want to talk to the person's spirit guides. We all have angels, guides, whatever you want to call it. We'll go through the life, we'll go through the death, we'll go up. We want to talk to the smart people up there who know this person very well about the past life and about the current life. We ask, give us some practical advice. What should she focus on right now? This is very important. It's not just, like you say, you could have a recreational past life regression. Hey, I just want to have fun and see who I was and whatever. That's cool. Something important is going to come out of that, even though you weren't expecting it. It's going to be some insight. In my session yesterday, a person had an insight that she hadn't even asked about. But she realized that was more important than what she was even asking about. It's a magical thing. It's like putting yourself as part of a team with spirit beings. You're like the man or the woman on the ground. You're down here in the dirt with the earthlings, but you're part of this amazing team. They value you. If you are getting into past life regression or other spiritual work, you're becoming a light worker. You're becoming part of a team. It's like joining a pretty amazing group.
You're making me think of like these superhero movies and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, actually, that's a really great point that I want to elaborate on as well, because maybe some people are thinking, because this is what I thought when I first read Journey of Souls. I was like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, Michael Newton has the coolest job, but I could never do that. What you're saying was so helpful for me on my journey when I realized it's not me doing anything. I show up, I hold space, and I have tools that I learn, but actually, it's really being guided by spirit. The power of just holding this intention to be a conduit of the highest good for my client is one of the most powerful things. Yes, we have these tools in our toolkit, but also, even if you forget something in the moment, spirit always comes through and brings it up. And so it is really nice to know it's not like, oh my gosh, I need to figure this all out. I need to do it perfectly. I'm all by myself doing this whole process. No, we're so supported and so guided. And it's really cool to spend our whole day, right? Hanging out with these guides, hanging out with spirit and being in that energy.
Beautifully said. It's so beautifully said. It's true. It's fun. And after you do a Reiki session, right, you're probably feeling a little high, right? Because the energy is flowing through you.
Mhm.
You're healed as well, even though that wasn't really the aim. It's the same with these sessions. After rubbing elbows with these high beings and receiving their help and being part of this grand healer team, it's like you're floating a little bit after these sessions, like your energy, your vibration, your frequency is raised. It's a cool feeling.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's so true. As a Reiki master, I feel all this energy, but every time I do spiritual regression, I feel as much energy as I do in a Reiki session. I can feel when the guides come in and when we connect with them. It always feels like I got this wonderful energy bath and this spiritual healing each time. It's really profound.
Yes, and we ask for their help. This is what we're going to teach is that we ask for their help. We invoke the spirit guides of our client and ourselves. I know I can't do this by myself. I can't do this without them. I don't have the goods. We need help, but they appreciate that. They're going to be helping anyway. But if we ask them, it just opens the doors wider. It opens the doors wider and to more of them. Up there, they're like falling over themselves, wanting to help us down here. They're proud of us. They love us, angelic beings, spiritual beings. They realize that we've come into this world and it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for weaklings to incarnate. It's for the brave. They realize that and they want to support us. And so we ask for their support in these sessions. Want to help their person or this person to get back on track or to achieve whatever their goals are. And so being part of this team, it's a good feeling. It's a big feeling. It does leave you floating a bit after the sessions.
Yeah. So let's talk just briefly about what is in this training, if you don't mind giving a brief rundown of what people are going to be learning or experiencing.
Absolutely. So we have a manual or a guidebook, a workbook. It contains a lot of information and it contains scripts. Scripts are what hypno people start out with because we don't memorize this whole thing of what to say. We just read the script. Yeah, that's kind of how we start. We have all of that set up for you. Basically, the class is going to be real interactive. It's online. It's going to be with you and me and whoever wants to join with us.
Livestream.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about past life regression. We're going to give them the building blocks because, as I may have said earlier, it's a lot to try to digest in one go. So we broke it down into bite-sized pieces. It's methodical. This leads to this and this leads to that. We're going to teach them the ABCs of doing a past life regression from the pre-talk through the induction, through the deepening, then the body of the regression, and then to resolve the regression. Okay, that was cool. What does it all mean? We want to resolve it in some way and then emerge them. Some things about this course that I think are valuable, or maybe even a little different than some other courses. We're going to spend time on troubleshooting sessions because we have those scripts. I know in some trainings they just say the script, and there you go. Okay, good luck, bye. Well, as you know, Diana, many or even most of clients, they don't follow the script. They're off in left field and they're off going here and there. Then what do? They're off the script. So we spend time in the course. Uh-oh, if they're stuck, how do I get them rolling again? What do I do about this? What do I do about that? We spend time with like troubleshooting, stimulating the client, keeping the thing rolling, keeping it effective and helpful. That's one thing about this training that is pretty valuable. The manual itself, I think, is a pretty good thing too. It's pretty solid. You've looked at it.
Very comprehensive.
There's
150 something pages.
something like that.
Yeah.
But some of them are just pictures, but
150 pages of pictures and 5 pages of content. No, just kidding.
yeah, there's just a paragraph at the end, tell you what to good luck. Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive, but of course there's always more to learn. And you don't have to do it exactly as I say or as Tiana says. You have your own style, but it's good to learn sort of the ropes, and then you can put your own personality into it. It's like maybe I've written something or Tiana says something that you wouldn't say or do, and that's fine. No worries. As long as you resolve something for your client, that's the cool thing. So it's the manuals, I think, is a plus, the troubleshooting thing. Oh, and then these spiritual sessions. The way I like to resolve the past life regressions is to meet with the person's spirit guide or guides. Because number one, it takes the person out of their own mind. It's other than them. It's somewhere else. Information is coming from somewhere through them. It's not like a psychic reading where I'm telling them, well, you were a witch and you were burned. And they're like, okay, so what? It's not like that. They're experiencing everything. Wow, I'm in a war zone and it's a battle. It's crazy. And then we'll take them through the death, which isn't a big deal. It's usually kind of a relief or a release. It's sort of like, thank God that's over. That was crazy down there. So we go through the death. We go up into spirit. And we want to meet with some spiritual beings. Usually they're spiritual guides or angelic beings. Sometimes even higher beings might come out, like archangels, or even higher than that we had yesterday. It's pretty cool getting the whole session resolved by these higher beings, these spiritual guides. Like, hey, I'll just say, what was this all about? Why are we shown that life on the battlefield? What does that have to do with now? It's like, well, because there's a parallel. And it was about camaraderie and being with your group and bravery and courage. And that's what you need to show in your work right now. It's not a life or death. You learn leadership skills then. And we want you to take a little bit more of a leadership role or something. So we get the guides to come through, and we get basically a person to channel their own guides or to just translate for them. It's just pretty meaningful. And just having that connection, that contact changes the person. It raises their vibration, just like we were talking about. The client's vibration is raised. They are changed by this session. These are the things we're going to teach you to do in our class, and just really look forward to it.
I want to touch back on one of the points that you made, because it is one of the reasons why I love to facilitate past life regression, is that we as a facilitator, we're not having to figure things out. We're not the ones that have to have the answers and then feed it to the other person. And so on our end, that's really nice. There's not this like big heavy pressure that, oh my gosh, am I going to figure it out? Am I going to have the answers? But even more so, it's so valuable on the client side that it's an empowering process, that they really do have all the answers within them. We're just facilitating, guiding them to find that within themselves. It's very empowering for them. And also it's a lot less pressure for us. It's very much a win-win. The things that I do, I really like them to be like that, so that the person is leaving not feeling dependent on me and that I fix them or anything. Also, that I don't feel that kind of pressure in work. It makes it a really enjoyable process on both sides.
That's a beautiful point. I agree totally. I don't have to be the guru. I don't have to have all the answers because I don't have them. What do I know? I mean, hopefully I learned a thing or two in my life. I don't know what your life's all about. How would I know? With these sessions, basically, I'm like the ferryman. I take them on the boat to the other side. I help them talk to the beings there, and then I take them back. That's sort of a symbol that's on the cover of the manual, is this sort of ferryman taking this woman with this page of questions like to the other side. That's really what we do. We don't have to know everything. We don't have to solve their problems. It is a weight off your shoulders. Also, it's probably good because it discourages that guru complex. Come to me, my son. I will tell you what you need to do. That's not my thing. I know there's a lot of people that do that, but I don't need that responsibility.
Right.
So we take them to the smart people and we take them back and they go, what do you think, man? They're like, yeah, cool. One thing that's important is that at the end of a session or after the session, just having a session may or may not change anything in the person's life, but it's when they put into action the information that they're given, that's when they're going to see things open up.
Mhm.
That's when they see the life changes. Part of that fairy process is getting some information for the person. We'll teach you how to do that. And it's not that hard.
And it's fun. It's fun to do. Yeah.
It's
It's
fun.
not work, it's play.
Yes, it's cool because you can be creative within these sessions, and it doesn't have to follow A, B, C, D. You can jump all around and do whatever you want. As long as you get to that advice or what am I supposed to do with my life now? Well, why don't you try this? Maybe look at that. They don't tell you what to do because you have free will, you're a free person, but they'll give you information that you can act upon or not. But if you do, it'll probably take you to the next stepping stone.
Perfect. Is there anything else that you want to share that we haven't touched on the training?
Well, it's 4 days, it's 6 hours, and then maybe a month after the training, we're gonna meet again. We're gonna meet again and say, "Well, what do you think, guys? How's it going?" And check in with people, how they've been
Yeah.
doing.
Mhm.
It's really fun, it's very interactive. We like to have a lot of discussion. It's not a bunch of lecturing, "Hey, listen." It's not all of that. There's a little bit of that, but it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of sharing. I love learning about people and all the people that we meet and where they're from and why they want to take the class. I welcome everyone, and we learn just like in the sessions from doing the classes. We learn. We learn about people. We learn things from people. It's just a lot of fun. Go to our websites and check it out. Training is May 6th and May 7th. It's a weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Then we skip a weekend, which is Mother's Day. And then we finish up on the 20th and 21st of May. And then the weekend after that, I think, is Memorial Day. So we're kind of sliding in between the holidays there. That week off, we're going to leave you on your own, but I'm probably going to suggest that you do a practice regression on your buddy or whoever we can partner you up with. So you will give and receive probably another past life regression during our downtime.
Yeah, it's great to have extra practice and extra experience because maybe also you've never received one. So to be on both sides of the equation is really, really helpful. And that's why, even as a practitioner, every now and then, this is why I reach out to Scott every now and then and have a session because it's important to remember what it's like to be on the other side as well. And it doesn't matter how many years I've been doing this. Still sometimes can feel a sense of pressure or whatever. And so it's good to kind of remember what that's like.
Absolutely. We're all in a human body, in a human life. We all have issues that we need to deal with. It's good to have these regressions. And then also it informs your sessions. It's like, oh yeah, I remember how I felt doing that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So people will receive 2 or 3 regression sessions. They'll receive and experience these 2 or 3 regression sessions in the training. That's definitely a highlight as well.
Yeah, so check out our sites for more information. Also, feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any questions. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you in the training.
Absolutely. Thank you. See
Thanks.
you.